Success. Media. Network. 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 Network.
This is your show.
Good day, Successors. I'm Antonio Holman, and welcome to the 4 Principles of Success, number 52, where I chat with successful people and entrepreneurs about how they enhance their businesses and lives in the areas of knowledge, health, wealth, and spirituality. And if you want to learn how I've stayed motivated throughout the years, check out my new book, Indulge Your Affirmative Motivation Within, 25 Motivations of Personal Development and Life Success, now on Amazon. Today, we're talking to happiness and success coach Vernon Brown. Vernon is located in Richmond, Virginia, and is the owner and founder of What's Your Happi, LLC, a hands-on happiness coaching practice designed around an individual's true happiness. In all aspects, Vernon helps his clients find their way to the types of lives they've always dreamed of having. With the focus of helping others get their lives back on track, Vernon's practice is based on his convictions in that the understanding of life is always a work in progress that needs to be under constant review. That being said, Vernon aims to shift focus from past negative thoughts to your forthcoming positive future. Vernon, are you ready to help our listeners prepare for success?
Oh my gosh, Antonio, absolutely, yes.
All right, let's do it. Okay, Vernon, aside from your business world, tell us a little bit about your personal life.
So I love that you started off with that, the personal life. I am a self-proclaimed maven of information that most people think is boring, so commonly known as a nerd. I love technology. I love comic books. I spend a majority of the time reading comic books, drawing, or just loving life in that way, just figuring out how to build another computer, and just read academic books. I like information, and yeah, that's me in a nutshell when it comes to stuff like that. I'm the guy that's at Barnes & Noble just reading.
Man, so far we have a lot in common because the comic books and artistic ways and things like that, that's been the majority of my life. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
See, so we click. Awesome.
Right.
Some people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that. They're like, what? Drawing? Yeah. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I have a huge comic book collection still. I've been holding on to it for years. I don't buy anymore, but yeah, I still love comics.
It's been about 20 years. I got to ask, I know this is not part of the show. Who's your favorite superhero?
For some reason, I would say, well, first of all, let's end this debate here. Marvel only. I've never been a DC guy ever.
Good. Okay. All right. I dig it.
And let's see. It's kind of a toss up between Wolverine and the Hulk.
I can dig that. All right. Okay. My son is named after the Wolverine, Logan.
Oh, okay. Wow.
All right. So that's great. That is great. Thank you for that.
Awesome. All right. For those who may not know, tell us a little bit more about your company, What's Your Happi, and what inspired you to create it?
So, that's a world-class question because I get that often. My company's name is What's Your Happi, and it's about finding your definition of happiness. We all have a different definition of happiness. And what happens throughout life is we start doing things that other people are doing without calling into question, is it really making us happy? You'll end up doing things. For example, we kind of have this architecture, the structure set up that we go to school to college to grad school, possibly grad school, to work for a couple of years, have a wife, have a couple of kids, or a husband for that from my standpoint, have a couple of kids, buy the house with a picket fence, and, buy a boat. And that is not for everybody. And what I found is a lot of people aren't even happy doing that. But it's about sitting down, figuring out what you want, and then going after it, because it is so significant and so important that you figure out what makes you happy. It changes the game in your life. It changes the way you show up. And if you don't know what makes you happy, let's get curious about that so we can figure that out. I always remind people that I am an architect. I am not an archaeologist. Talking about problems, talking about what's wrong does not bring you one step closer to getting you excited and energized about your life, because nothing changes. Finding out what happened 10 years ago and coming to these answers does not change what needs to be done in the present.
That's an increasing trend I've noticed, too, is people being unhappy with the traditional ways of doing things. I guess the tradition of the last, 60 plus years, people are finding themselves unhappy in the textbook situations that they were taught to pursue. And people are starting to realize that you need to do the things that make you happy and everything else will come behind it.
And you said it exactly right. And you're right then with that statement. But we're taught this. We're taught, whether it's from friends, family, school, whatever it may be. But it's about realizing that if you don't make some changes now, if you don't start making different decisions, it really shows up in a profound way. And I'm not judging anybody, because I want everyone to understand as well that there's no negative language here. There are no labels in my world. It's just direction, it's just focus, it's just clarity, and it's just you getting so specific about what you want for your life that it gets you excited, because you're not looking for problems anymore. You're looking for solutions. Solutions get you excited. Solutions make you feel more capable. Solutions allow you to see more options, opportunities, possibilities, and solutions. It's called oops thinking. I'm a fanatic of it, and I live by it. And it's how I can keep my energy so high so I can always look for wins. A great example is, connecting with you here on 4 Principles of Success. I love it.
Okay, so let's talk about your clients. Who are your clients? What are the types of personalities that actually seek out your type of practice, and what drives them into even seeking your guidance?
Wow, that's one I never heard before. So my clients, they're people who are inspiring, whether they realize it or not. It's they are. I've had so many. I've been in business for 4 years now, and I've been with over 10,000 people. It's a mixed bag. It's a lot of professionals, lawyers, CEOs, directors. It could be somebody who works from home. It's just a lot. But what they do have in common is they want to be happier. They want to be more successful. They know that there's more to life than what they have right now, and they're not too sure what the next steps are. These are people or individuals who just are ready to take that. It's not even a leap of faith, but take the next step in life. Some of my clients have been doing the same thing for any number of years, whether it's professionally, whether it's certain habits, and then looking to expand and add a new tool to the tool set, so to speak.
In becoming a more happy, positive person, what is the initial mind shift that needs to occur within someone who finally wants to make a positive life happen?
My first reaction to that is change. And change is a very scary word when your energy's low. And it's just that realization that there can be a different way of going through life than what you currently are. That's for hands down is, the big thing. Whether I'm giving a speech or I'm just talking with someone, when they realize there's another way to go about their life or to do a particular thing, it really starts opening you up to other possibilities.
Now, before we got started, we kind of chatted about the weather, and I am definitely one of those people who tend to suffer from winter depression. And how can people begin to get over that type of situation? Even with the vitamin D supplementation that scientists say help you get over that, there still seems to be a struggle when it's not bright and shiny and beautiful outside, and the weather's cold and you're shivering.
Right.
How do you defeat the weather with your mind, your mindset?
Yeah, that is such a key question, because I'm glad you brought this up. Kind of give a little backstory. I wasn't even aware that I was so affected by the weather when I was younger. I was in school and I was in the room, and my room had no freaking windows. Didn't think anything of it till about 3 months in. I started noticing that I didn't feel productive. I started beating myself up, and I'm like, what is going on? And it took me some time, and I realized it was the light. I wasn't getting any light. And this is with me taking supplements. I've always been pretty aware of, supplementation, but it just wasn't working. So, yeah, that's something I'm very familiar with, because a lot of my clients talk about this as well. I think if there's anything one of the big things we are animals, we are humans, we are affected by a lot of different things. Obviously, weather, the one we're talking about, is one that we're affected by. One of the biggest strategies that I do, because I'm always looking what can I do differently, is I keep a file, a folder of things that I don't normally want to do. But I do those on those days when my energy is a little bit lower, when I'm not feeling quite as energetic as I normally would. So that way I'm still being productive. When you don't want to leave the house, great. That's a perfect time for you to start looking at different people to reach out to go through different documents, to make some phone calls you might not have wanted to make before, just so you can stay, active, just so you can still be going in the direction of your choosing. Dance and sing. It will change the way you show up.
Yeah, that's one thing. I was just watching a Joe Rogan podcast with Dr. Rhonda Patrick, and she was talking about circadian rhythms and restrictive eating. And that circadian rhythm thing is such a real thing that a lot of us do not realize. And that definitely plays into the same aspect of your light exposure, for sure. When working with entrepreneurs, what are 3 major things that budding entrepreneurs need to focus on before moving into the realm of entrepreneurship?
Make sure you have a system set up that gives you personal time. If there's anything that I've seen from successful, ultra successful to the people just starting out, when they come, seeking me out, there's never any true time to themselves. And in fact, this is for everybody. But for entrepreneurs, they are notorious for not taking time for themselves. Time that does not involve anybody. No family, no, your wife, your husband, your Aunt Sue, your secretary. It can only be about you. Number one thing, I always get on them about like, hey, what are we doing different? If you want to be more focused, more diligent, more patient, more appreciative, more, expansive with your business, you got to set that time aside to keep your energy flowing.
See, I can see that. Now, here's another thing. I tend to be a bit of a workaholic. I work for hours and hours, and, people around you, they say, you need to take a break. You're working too much and, that type of thing. But are they really correct in saying that, or is it that you're really enjoying what you do, so just continue? Or should you force yourself to actually take a break?
Yeah, my first reaction to that, it wouldn't be it's not a right or wrong thing, but it's about if you keep swinging that axe without chopping it down, sure, you're busy chopping down trees, but are you being quite as effective as you would be if you just kind of gave yourself the 30 minutes just to catch a nap, the 45 minutes and to just power down? And so that's what it kind of falls back to me. And so there is some truth to it, but I don't want to get caught up in a right or wrong thinking, but, is this going to be the most productive use of your time? And that's when we get over to discussion of busy versus productive.
What 3 major aspects of your clients' lives can be expected to be enhanced when working with you?
Being present. That's and I don't want to get away from the other 2 questions. Those other 2 answers that I didn't give you. Sorry, I got long-winded. But number 1 is being present. So many people are thinking about the future. They're thinking about the past, and they're not present. Number 2, it's going to be their understanding. A large part, especially in the first 4 weeks of coaching, is education. I'm educating you about how your brain works. I'm educating you about how social interactions are really working against you or for you, and so you can make you aware of it, because that's a key thing. So if you don't know, how would you know to pay attention? And I think the third thing, and in fact, I know the third thing, is you get a better sense of yourself, of certain behaviors that you might be doing that you're not even aware of, because a large number of people right now don't realize how awesome and how amazing they are, because you spend so much time around your parents, you spend so much time around your family, your friends, your significant other, it becomes white noise to them. It's a law of familiarity working against you. It's I think the best way to sum this up, Antonio, are you familiar with Joel Osteen?
Yeah.
So I call it the Joel Osteen effect. He has a wife, and this is for the listeners. Joel Osteen's a preacher, and I'm not getting religious here, but he sends out these great positive messages. He has a wife named Victoria. And what I always like to say is, do you really think Victoria wants to hear Joel talk all the time?
Right. Yeah, I'm sure she's had enough.
She's like, stop talking, because it's normal to her. She's like, he's always saying things to get other people excited. She just doesn't pay attention to it anymore. Mm-hmm. And that happens to us in our lives. We spend so much time around people that, and I'm not saying this is bad, but I'm not saying this isn't a bit to your benefit, but you got to be aware of where your real genius is. And if most people, and these are people, my oldest client's 80 years old, they look at me or they get really quiet over the phone because no one's ever said that to them. They're like, you're kidding me. I'm like, yes, you have a great delivery. You're a natural leader. And they're like, what? But that's definitely the 3 things: becoming more present, a better understanding because you get education, and just recognizing where the real genius is in your life.
I love the way coaches can help people realize things that were right in front of them. Mm-hmm. That's a great thing. All right, Vernon, we're going to talk about your life a little bit here. And, life's ups and downs all the time. Nothing's ever perfect all the time. So Throughout your journey, what was the one time when you felt most unsuccessful?
I got to take it back to about 15 years ago. It was probably the lowest low that I've ever been in my entire life. Unsuccessful wasn't, I had no direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do because I had become what everyone had told me I was going to become. I'm not trying to go all dark here, but I just didn't know what my life was supposed to be about. I didn't know what steps to take. I didn't know if I wanted to go on anymore just because it just seemed such a daunting task. That was, hands down, the most unsuccessful part I can think of in my life. I bounced back from that, fortunately.
What do you feel was the one hardest thing for you to overcome in your business that you've since conquered?
The hardest thing, the hardest thing, believe it or not, am I capable of doing this? And it's so second nature to me to do this that and even going back to what we said a moments ago, I was so used to being this person, so used to always seeing the possibilities that I was like, is somebody really going to pay me to do this? And it was a lot of doubt for me. And even when I first started, so again, I've been doing this for 4 years, the first 2 years, I was kind of trying because I kind of didn't know if it was real. And there's no doubt about that. That was me getting in my own way just because I didn't even recognize the value of what I could do.
Mm-hmm. The good old imposter syndrome always creeps in at some point.
Exactly.
What one thing in your business are you currently struggling to overcome?
One thing, right now speaking, and I wouldn't necessarily call it about as an obstacle, but just something that's helping me grow more. So I started speaking at the beginning of this year. And for me, I was really shocked by when I was delivering the content to people and the organizations that a lot of people weren't aware of it. And fortunately, they like the content, they love the idea because I keep things light and funny. It's not that complicated. It is complicated, but you don't need to worry about that. All we need to talk about is being happier and more successful. But in speaking, sometimes I've gotten a little bit of pushback because when I say a happiness coach wants to come in and, speak on, how to be the happier, more successful at the workplace, some people are so unaware of being happier, it kind of stands up. They're very standoffish about it. And then sometimes they don't really get what I do. So that makes them, again, standoffish. You're like, hey, what's this guy up to? I don't get it. So I'm not going to pay him much mind. Mm-hmm. So if there's anything I'm growing through right now, it's that.
What was your most challenging client-related situation and how'd you resolve it?
That happened this year. I had a couple came to my speech. I mean, really, really sharp people. They were having just a significant time in life. Life just wasn't going the way that they wanted to go. And, it's really tough when you see very smart, capable people going through, particular things in life that they know that they're smart enough and you can see it that they're smart enough. And I think, because I'm not a doctor, but I make sure I say that in my coaching agreement, I'm not a doctor, but I could really see that there were definitely some neurological things going on. And I asked them about a physical. And they looked at me like I had 5 heads. And they were just like, well, what do you mean? And just asked them, I was like, would you mind going to get a physical? So long story short, they got a physical and their doctor even said, hey, your thyroid, your levels are way off. And when they came back to me the following week, they looked at me and said, well, how did you know to do that? And I just kind of pointed out to them like things weren't really lining up. They was completely incongruent. So they kept pushing back, and I wasn't telling them what to do. I'm not a doctor again, but I would just say, hey, would you mind following up with your doctor about this? Long story short, it was a thyroid that was really causing a lot of the bizarre behavior that was going on. And it was just, that was a tough one. And it took a good 2 months for them to finally, but to really take some root and that could be the real struggle there.
That was an issue with both people?
Yes, believe it or not. So funny thing, the wife had that in her family. And so she was taking medicine. The husband, and they had 4 children. They had 4 children. They were all had thyroid issues. And the husband never thought that he could be was the one that could be affected by it as well.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, that one took some, how can I change the way that I'm saying things for them to kind of get to take root.
What do you feel is the one biggest business triumph to date?
I know the biggest business triumph is it's going to be being in business for 4 years and seeing the next 10 years looking great. The second year in is something about that 2.5 year mark for me when I really got serious about it. It really started catching fire. Like everything started making sense. I started making more connections. That has got to be when I realized that this is real. I can do this. I'm capable of this. And people they want and they need it.
What do you feel is your one biggest personal triumph today?
Taking control of my own health. When my family is, a lot of things run in my family, from cancer to high blood pressure to heart disease. We run a whole gamut of a lot of medical problems, just a lot of obesity. And when I was younger, I was 18 years old and they diagnosed me with high blood pressure. And that was just such a shock to me. I'm 18 years old. What? And so what I did was I went all out about getting myself physically in shape, from exercise. I even mentioned earlier about supplementation, from just the way I treat myself. And that was just such a huge thing for me to be in control of how long I was going to be here and the quality of life I get to live while I am here. So hands down, health is your wealth.
Hang tight, successors. We'll return to our conversation with Vernon Brown as well as quick success after a word from our sponsors. Podcasters, want more listeners? Check out promosharecast.com and join the community today. That's promosharecast.com. Join today and get the first month free, and you'll also receive 50% off for a lifetime membership. Sign up today. promosharecast.com. Are you a tense, tired, busy person who works day in and day out, who tends to lack the proper sleep and energy? Using modular supplements, health-related articles, recipes, life hacks, and more, Bellison can help. With quality as high as Bellison, you're buying from a company that cares about the environment and only uses premium vegan supplements. That's Bellison.com. Want to learn how to cook healthy, exercise, and meditate in just 30 minutes a day? Bellison.com. Want to feel healthy, energetic, and focused like me? Bellison.com. To receive a 10% discount at checkout. Whoa, hold on. Now receive even more health benefits with a 20% discount at checkout. Go to Bellison.com with the coupon code the4POS to get your 20% off now. Visit Bellison.com. That's BELISAN.com. Compassion and quality without compromise. Bellison.com. And we're back with happiness and success coach Vernon Brown. Now we get into the part of the show I like to call Quick Success, where you, Vernon, can inspire the successors to enhance their lives in the areas of knowledge, health, wealth, and spirituality. Vernon, what are you currently doing to enhance your knowledge?
I read so much about people and about trending behaviors so I can understand how to approach them differently, because that's a really big thing. You cannot approach any persons the same way. So again, trending behaviors, and just seeing what the latest buzz is, because that's a big thing too. It's kind of giving me awareness of what's going on right now.
What are you currently doing to enhance your health?
I've decided to change my cardio routine up. I used to do swimming and running, and now I've changed it over to the row machine, and I have been doing a crazy amount of pull-ups.
What are you currently doing to enhance your wealth?
I have actually hired a third coach for myself to get me more focused on a different approach to how I do business.
It's great when your coach has a coach.
I have 3 now.
Mm-hmm. What are you currently doing to enhance your spirituality?
I'm becoming more centered with myself and who I am and where my place is in the world.
Are there any modern technologies or apps that you use to help you achieve success?
Trello. It makes working with my team, it makes life so much better because we can all communicate with one another real time with our to-do list and tasks that we need to have done or currently in the pipeline.
What new book, activity, technology, or skill are you really excited to learn and dive into?
CRM software. I have not. Well, I've just been using a good old spreadsheet to keep track of my clients. And this happened, oddly enough, you asked this question 2 or 3 days ago. I really sat down and said, hey, I need to get a customer relationship management software just to make things more efficient.
All right, successors, just to make you aware, Vernon right now, he has 3 available spots to book with him. Vernon, tell us about that.
All right. So, and thank you for bringing this up, Antonio. This is for people who are ready to make the changes. And I want to remind people and throw this out there about changes. 99.9% of the time, it is never a major change. It's small course corrections, whether it's thinking or how you execute. I require that everyone sign for 3 months. You got to be with me for 3 months. The first 4 weeks, you get mad at me. Well, I wouldn't say mad. You push back a little bit because you can't believe it's that easy. And this is for everybody. You cannot believe it's that easy. The second month, you get a little bothered with yourself because why didn't I think about this? And it starts coming to you so much faster. And I'm not a business consultant, but I know for a fact that if 80% of why business does not grow is because of the business owner, guess what? I'm the guy to kind of get those, to clear the mental cobwebs out. And by the third month, you're trying to manage how the heck do I control whatever I wanted? If you want to have more working communication skills, you're saying, wow, I'm talking so much better with my wife, my aunt, this, that, and the other. I'm just surprised at the amount of conversations I'm engaged in, the amount of business, the amount of customers you're going to be serving now because you're going to be more efficient. So it's the third month is generally about management. Now, after those 3 months, we can still continue to work together, but but up front, I'd say, hey, stick with me for 3 months. And we go and we laugh. We have a really good time, and I'm not here to be your best friend. I mean, that's one big distinction I want to point out. If you want a best friend, you can find one. Am I your friend? Yes, but I'm your coach. So I'm going to answer the questions that are important for your success. They're important for your growth. They're important for your true potential to be shown. And I just even on my contract, I let people know if you're not ready to be uncomfortable, I'm not the person for you. Please do not sign here. All right. So it's what'syourhappi.com. Now, it's happy with an I, not happy with a Y. And you can sign up there. You can contact me at Vernon. This is alternate contact, but you can contact me at Vernon@what'syourhappi.com. And that's happy with an I.
All right, successors, you heard that. Go ahead and book with Vernon at what'syourhappi.com, What'syourhappi.com. Vernon, how can our listeners connect with you?
You can go to my Instagram, which is going to be what's your happy. It's just going to be an underscore after every word, and it's happy again with an I. And on my Facebook page, and it's facebook.com/what'syourhappy. And I try to do my best to post it every 2 to 3 days, whether it's a video, just some type of inspiration to keep you going.
Finally, Vernon, what's your definition of success?
My definition of success is having a great time along the way in life. Appreciating the fact that you're going to get there. We underestimate how much we can handle. We underestimate how much we can do. And once you come to that realization, you realize that you can have more fun in life as you go along because you're going to figure it out.
Successors, I hope you've enjoyed my conversation with Vernon Brown. Please check out more successful free content like this at the4pos.com. as well as rate, review, and subscribe wherever you find podcasts. Thanks for listening and prepare for success. Thanks, Vernon.
Thank you so much, Antonio.
If you want to do more, earn more, be more, and stay more motivated, visit Amazon.com right now for a copy of Indulge Your Affirmative Motivation Within, 25 Motivations of Personal Development and Life Success. Get it now at Amazon.com. Podcasters, want more listeners? Check out promosharecast.com and join the community today. That's promosharecast.com. Join today and get the first month free, and you'll also receive 50% off for a lifetime membership. Sign up today. promosharecast.com.